Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Chris D Redefined, and yes, I am fully decked out in Eagles gear, and you see my Eagles background behind me, and it's just because I taught a class about American football and the NFL just now, and I thought I would just jump on and do one of my episodes. And so I will touch on football a little bit, but I'm going to move right into some politics because the No Kings protest is coming up in 48 hours, and here in Portugal, it'll be about 48 hours, and I want to discuss that and what's going on with the No Kings rally. Football, let's go there first, and then I'll switch topics. I know actually, there's controversy and drama in both realms, so it's not that different. So in football, my Philadelphia Eagles, of course, there's drama, because there's always drama with the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though we're 4-2, there's plenty to complain about. So we have lost our last two games. We went through a gauntlet of very difficult games. Dallas, Kansas City, the Rams, and Tampa Bay. And I was for sure thinking we would lose at least one of those games, but probably two. And instead, we won all four. So at one point, we were 4-0. But sadly, Denver Broncos came into Philadelphia to the Link and beat us up. Yeah, that wasn't good. And then we went to New York to the Meadowlands, and we got our asses kicked, and they just wiped the floor with us, and we deserved to lose the way we played. So something is happening. I really think that the injuries and the attrition on our O-line have really curtailed our offense. It's just Jalen is not protected, so then he gets nervous. He cannot read defenses once he's scrambling around, and I don't know what's happening with the play calling. It's starting to look like the old 2023, where everything was repetitive, predictable. Everything was vanilla. There was nothing creative going on in our offense, and it's starting to look exactly like that. And sadly, if you look at the players, not players on the field, but the key essential players that create the offense, they're all the same from 2023. Nick Sirianni, head coach. Kevin Patullo was also a coach in the offense. Now he's our offensive coordinator. And Jalen Hurts. All three of them are still there. And now we're repeating the same stupid, predictable patterns of play that we did back in 2023. So unless we clean that up, that and our O-line is beat up. It's just beat up. So everyone's stopping our running game. Saquon was a phenomenon last season, so he hit record numbers. I mean, what players make it to 2,000 yards in a season? He did. And he could have gone beyond that, but they sat him on the bench the last game, I think. The last game at least, so that he could have broken another record, but they sat him on the bench to keep him safe for the postseason play. That being said, our defense, there are some 8 to 10 players that are new to us. And they're young. We have the youngest defense in the league. So, of course, there's going to be mistakes. It's growing pains. And then we have new players, one of whom just announced his retirement after we traded for him and got him. 2 games later, he retired all of a sudden. So now we're really light on edge rusher. So hopefully we can get BG back. We can get Brandon Graham back. Maybe we can talk him into coming back to play for the Eagles. I don't know. But we're going to be in some sad shape. I was predicting 12 wins, I think, for this season. And now I'm predicting 10 to 11 wins. And hopefully we can make it into the post office with 10 to 11 wins. But I don't know if we can beat New York again. The Giants again. They trounced all over us. 2 rookies. Their rookie quarterback and their rookie running back just ran all over us. And then, so I don't know if we can do it twice. So they're coming to the Link next time we play them. So hopefully we win. And then Washington Commanders are always strong. Well, in the last 2 years, they're strong. So I don't know if we can beat them either. So we'll see what happens, but if we don't win at least 10, I don't know if we're going to be in the postseason. And it's really sad. There's a mini bye, so we're coming back after a 10-day rest because we played Thursday night football. So of course we're going to play on Sunday. That'll give them 10 days to restart this whole offensive just horrible game planning and game play calling. So hopefully they can improve that. All right. Having spoken about my birds and telling you the problems with the birds, let me switch to the No Kings rally. I have gotten really involved with the two American political groups here in Lisbon, Democrats Abroad, Portugal, and Amped Up, Americans in Portugal United in Protest for a Pro-Democratic America. So it's Amped Up. And there will be 6 speakers and an MC at this rally. It's supposed to be 1 hour long here in Lisbon on Saturday, No King's Day. And I'm the MC and I'm the final speaker. I don't know what happened, but I am both. Somebody, the leader of the group said, Chris, can you handle both? And I was like, hey, if democracy needs me to do both, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm being called to do both. I hope this works out. I have a lot of energy, as you can tell, so I'm not worried about that. I just hope that my message is very clear as the closing speaker, because I want people to be motivated to sign up to assist us in fighting this regime. Of course, we all know that Speaker Mike Johnson and all of the Republicans are freaking out because they are expecting at least 7 million people to participate. Now, last March we had, I think, the last No Kings 1.0, the first time we had No Kings, we wound up with 5.3 million, I think. And the golden number, according to that writer who predicts political success, she says that a 3.5% of your population has to show out at a political protest in order for the country to start swinging in that direction. So we would need 340 million voters in the U.S. from what I think it's less than that. I think it's less than 340 million. I think they're just counting some adults who are adults but aren't registered to vote yet. But that would be around 12 million people. I think that it's going to be 7 million people, but I got to say, the president, the occupant of the White House, let me call him that, really helped us out when he threatened Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel got, for 2 days, got taken off the air because the American public woke up and said, whoa, oh, wait a second. Now a comedian can't even make fun of you? Like, once you affect Americans and their daily life, right? So a lot of people sit down and watch the late night television shows and watch their favorite comedian, Stephen Colbert, who's also gotten canceled. His last show was supposed to be in May. We'll see if that happens. And then when Jimmy Kimmel got suddenly canceled, Americans were like, whoa, that's my favorite show. And then on top of that, they were like, wait a second, he just was talking about that's just a comedian doing his thing. And comedians have always made fun of the White House. And so then they're starting to wake up. And now they're starting to see where these goddamn ICE raids are throwing U.S. citizens now, journalists, people that are just filming on the side. It's not just brown people. Now they are arresting and detaining journalists for no reason, just for filming them or interviewing with a microphone, and they're grabbing these journalists and throwing them in unmarked vans, and the journalist disappears now for hours or days. And so, in fact, there was one woman that was playing the clarinet in a band in Portland. They were just peacefully playing, that she did nothing wrong. She was playing in a band. She just happened to be at the end of the march, and they grabbed her and threw her in a detention center for a few days. A few hours. Sorry about that. Few hours. White woman, right? Just playing the clarinet in the street. So we have reached that point, America. I don't know who's watching this, but we have reached that point. So I have been scared for my own family because obviously I'm brown skinned. So I've been afraid for my own family for months, 9 months. But now the American people is nervous because should they march, anybody could be snatched. And all kinds of, I mean, Speaker Mike Johnson is calling it a hate America rally. And then Dump himself, the occupant, has called it like, oh, those people are all terrorists, they're Antifa. So all 7 million who are expected to show out are all Antifa? Wow. That's quite the organization. That's like bigger than AARP. You know, like, please. You know, I how do I feel about it? I'm going to be talking. I actually had a friend who said, you know, aren't you afraid for yourself? Or you afraid, you know, you might not be able to go back to the U.S. if you are constantly seen protesting. And I'm like, no, I have a son who is 21 years old, and he's going to grow up in a dictatorship if we aren't able to change this. So I'm going to do everything in my power so that my son can grow up with the same freedoms that I had at his age. And so it means a lot to me, and I don't care if I'm, you know, targeted. Why would they target me? I live in Portugal. I'm like no one. I'm like you know, I'm an online teacher, and you know, like I'm a student here in Lisbon. They're not coming after me. It'll be interesting to see how many people show up at the rally. I've been handing out leaflets at the university that I attend. Some of the other members of Amped Up have been plastering our leaflets and flyers all over the center of town. I have to go to the center of town for a class anyway, so I might as well. I'm going to be throwing up some leaflets as I'm going around town. Anyway, but we'll see how many people show. I'm at the No Kings One rally. We had about 120 active participants in that rally. Not a lot. I mean, it's American expats over here, right? But I'm thinking it's going to be more because people are fed up with this regime in power. So I think more Americans will show up. We'll have some probably American tourists maybe show up. And then because I've been handing them out at university, I've been going to the offices of the student political groups, the political clubs. I've been going and posting flyers there also. I went to the law school the other day and I handed out flyers as well. So I'm hoping that some university students will get involved. I've also posted on the Instagram pages of some left-wing political groups, left-leaning political groups. So hopefully that, you know, we'll get some Portuguese coming out who are also against fascism and against Trump. You know, everyone here in Europe, Portugal too, is afraid of what's going on because, you know, obviously Dump is in bed with Putin, and if Putin goes through the Ukraine, he's going to start eating up, you know, what was the former Eastern Bloc nations. So Poland will be next, you know, Czechoslovakia, you know, he's not going to stop. He's just going to keep trying to conquer, you know, all of the rest of Europe. And so Europeans are nervous, and there are growing factions of right-wing conservative fascists that are starting to grow in political power in many of these European countries. So they're watching the U.S. very carefully because our democracy fell in like 5 months. It's pretty much been an authoritarian or plutocracy for 4 months at least, maybe 5. It's really been operating as an authoritarian plutocracy for about 5 months. So anyway, I will be covering how the No Kings protest went for me in my next video. Please hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoy the content. I'll see you next time here at Chris D Redefined.